to Masterclass. Every Wednesday, I know today's Thursday, but yesterday I couldn't because I was taking part in a training all day long. But every week I go live with a master class. Okay, I do other live lessons. I do other lessons, by the way. But I like the master class because it's usually a little longer, and I bring more concepts, more activities. I talk to you guys. We hang out and check out this hair. Like, come on. If you don't know me very well, hi, I am Teacher Prix, and my mission is to make you learn how to talk to anyone, anywhere, anytime in English. Thank you so much for being here. Share this video with a friend, invite your friends, and as usual, tell me where you're watching me from. I would love to know where you're from. Every week there are so many people from so many different places. It's amazing, you know? Uh, so tell me where you're from. I am from Brazil. Okay. I'm from Brazil. How about you guys? Tell me here. Let's see. Today we're going to be talking about speaking English clearly. Hello, Mexico. Awesome. Never been to Mexico. I have a friend in Mexico. She's really fun. I met her in Boston. Turkey, awesome. Japan, that's cool. India, Uganda, that's very nice, fantastic. Belgium, kind of fun. Portugal, India, very nice. Okay, Bulgaria, Algeria. No, it's English, just English. Hola is, I don't know what it is, just English. All right, my friends. Now, today's lesson, I promise I'll be as objective as possible. We're going to be talking about speaking English clearly. Tell me something. Do you think people on YouTube watching the replay, watching this some other time, do you think you speak clearly? Tell me here quite honestly. Do you think your English is clear? Crystal clear. Okay? Tell me here in the comments, in the chat. I would love to know that, okay? Because that is an important question you have to answer. Priscilla, I don't know. What is to speak clearly? We're going to be talking about that, by the way. So in today's master class, I'll be giving 3 habits. I'll be talking about 3 habits that you need to implement to help you speak more clearly. Now, are you going to have the results overnight? No. Habits need repetition. So you will need to repeat these habits that I'm going to suggest for a few weeks. Try. What's the harm? The worst thing that can do is you get better. Honestly, you know, I'm pretty sure that if you implement these habits, you are. Medium says, I don't think so, but I try my best. That's the attitude. I like the attitude. Diraj, no, I don't think so. Okay. Very well. How about people on YouTube? Do you speak clearly? And if you want to see these slides, come to YouTube, because on YouTube I'm showing these slides. Okay. Now, guys, speaking clearly can happen, and we're going to be talking about that. Okay. You will still have an accent. I don't know where you're from, and every now and then, I'm from Brazil. I like to emphasize that a lot. Every now and then I see a comment, oh my God, she has an accent. Oh my God, I can see that she's from Brazil. Oh, yeah, of course I have an accent. I'm not American. I'm not Canadian. But I'm pretty sure my English is really good. Okay, so when I say you're going to speak more clearly, what I'm trying to emphasize here is you will speak clearly, not perfectly. Perfection is off the table. You will inevitably have an accent. It is natural. Of course that I want you to reduce your accent as much as possible. Okay? Of course that every teacher's goal, every teacher's dream is to make their students reduce their accent. Of course I want you to do that. But we need to be realistic. Okay? I mean, It is what it is, you know? Life goes on. This is what I teach my students in my academy. Speaking clearly does not mean having zero accent. As a non-native speaker, you will naturally bring your accent. We will always know or somewhat know where you're from. However, there are things you can do. There are things I teach my students about how to reduce the accent, how to improve your clarity. With my students, they have specific modules to work on pronunciation, strategic lessons. They have shadowing. We have live sessions to help them improve their communication. That's what we're going to do today, okay? Now, guys, that being said, today's mission, what is today's mission? Today's mission is to learn 3 habits that will help you speak more clearly. You will also understand what makes you sound unclear. You know, when people look at you and they're like, what? They don't understand? They're like, say that again? We're going to understand what is going on. And finally, we're going to have some practice moments. At least I'm going to give you some recommendations. There are some exercises I prepared, and I'm going to exemplify so that you understand what you need to do. And remember, are you familiar with the word habit? Do you understand the concept of a habit? Do you know what a habit is? Here, I'm going to type this here in the chat for people on Instagram. But for people on YouTube, you can see here on the screen. We're going to talk about habits. Do you know what a habit is? A habit is an action you repeat so much that it's automatic. You don't need to repeat anymore. You don't think about it anymore. For example, brushing your teeth. It's a habit. You know how to do it. You don't even think much. How am I gonna brush? No, you just do it. Thank you. Just do it. That's a habit. You repeat it so many times that you go on autopilot. And we need habits because habits help the brain save energy. So it's very healthy for us to establish habits. To form a habit, we need repetition. That's why I started in this video, I started by saying, well, overnight, nothing is going to happen. But with the repetition of these recommendations, they are going to become habits, okay? Very, very important observation. Now, that being said, there are 2 types of clarity, okay? 2 types of clarity. 2 types. Very important. How many types of clarity? Tell me here in the chat. Let's see if you're paying attention. Are you paying attention? How many types of clarity? I'm testing your attention span. We have idea clarity and we have speech clarity. Sometimes when I make these videos or when we see these videos on YouTube, we immediately conclude, oh, pronunciation, the way I speak, my accent. But no, there are 2 types of clarity. Your ideas and your speech. Okay? So what are they? Ideas and speech. 2 types of clarity. And having only one and not the other will make you sound unclear. Native speakers may not understand you. Sometimes your pronunciation is good. I understand. But your ideas, ugh. What is love, baby? You're all over the place. So we need to work on both, especially if you are at a B1, B2 level. That is actually the biggest problem for students at a B1, B2 level. I was talking to a student yesterday, and then I asked her a question, which she started to answer. She's a student from my academy. She got a bonus call. She started answering the question, and then she changed and she started talking about someone else. But she hadn't finished what she was saying about the person I asked. That's when I interrupted her and I said, we're talking about your brother, right? And then she realized that her ideas were not clear. She started talking about her sister when she was not finished with the brother story. So she apologized, went back to the brother story, and finished. Sometimes your ideas are not clear, and you get people lost in conversation. B1 and B2 mistake. Every B1 and B2 speaker may make this mistake. It's very common. Okay, very, very common, because you are in this transition level. You are moving forward in the direction of becoming an advanced speaker. As a result, facing this challenge is natural, okay? But we need to work on them. Otherwise, you don't get the job. Why do we need the clarity? Because you don't get the job if you don't have clarity. Ideas clarity, okay? Idea clarity. You don't get you can't have a meeting. People will not understand your presentation. Your customers will not understand you. People on the street will not understand you. Even if your pronunciation is on point, if your pronunciation is good. So that being said, speaking clearly starts with the mouth, with the ideas, okay? If your ideas are disorganized in your head, okay? If your ideas are all over the place when I ask you a question, I ask you a question about your routine and you can't guide me in an organized answer, that's idea problem. If I ask your opinion about something and you go around and around and around until you give me your opinion, then you have clarity problem. If I ask you, why should I hire you? Why should we give this position? Why should we give this job to you? And you go around and around and around and you can't give me a solid, objective explanation, you're not clear. Okay? If someone stops you on the street and asks for direction and you go around and talk about streets and up and down and you can't give clear instructions, you don't have clarity. Okay? If I ask you about your opinion regarding a specific subject and you go around and around and around and you don't give me your actual opinion, clarity. And this takes practice. If you give me a way short answer, because I like sports, you lack repertoire. Different problem, but also connected to ideas. So what habit do I want you to start implementing? Habit one suggestion to work on idea clarity, okay? Idea clarity, you need to practice formulation instead of simply conversation. B1 and B2 love saying, Priscilla, I just need to talk. I need to talk, Priscilla. I just need to practice my conversation. Do you feel that way? Do you say that sometimes? I understand English, my English is okay. I just need to speak more. Do you say that sometimes when people ask you about your English? Do you say that sometimes? Oh, Priscilla, I just need to study more. That's it. I need to speak more. I need to have conversations and then I'll speak clearly. But if you don't have proper guidance, when it's time to speak, you can have sessions every day. You're going to make the same mistakes. And I've seen this happen. I have seen people who, not with me, okay, but they hired speaking sessions, but because they didn't work on the real problem, they had many of those sessions, and yet they were not clear. And yet they felt something was wrong. And you just go and Google it. You can find a lot of websites and AI and so many other options. Buy an hour session for $10, $5, and you will talk to someone in English. That is not going to solve the problem. If you don't have clarity, if you don't have real methodology in place, it's a mistake to believe you just need to speak more. Okay, so what is the idea that I want you to implement in habit one? Habit one is the 3 times practice, okay? And this will help you organize your thoughts. You think a lot when you speak English. You're nervous, you're trying to remember words, you're trying to remember reasons, explanations, and consequently, when you start talking, you may sound a little confusing. That's natural. We need to work on that. We need to address this challenge. So you're going to start practicing. And when I say practice, I mean study time. When you're studying, okay? When you're studying, I imagine you study every day. So when you're studying, you're going to follow this first habit, which is to practice the following framework. I'm going to give you a framework. Believe me, take notes. People on Instagram come to YouTube to take a screenshot. What is a framework? It's a kind of a template, okay, to help you practice. You still need to speak, but it's a template. I want you the point, the explanation, and the example. I need you to start thinking about the point, the reason, the example. The point, the reason, the example. The point, the reason, the example. Point, reason, example. And the more you advance, the longer the point becomes, the longer the explanation becomes, and the longer the example becomes. However, being long needs to be organized. So we need to take that into account. Just because I speak a lot doesn't mean I am being clear. So when I say long, be careful. This takes practice and preparation. But for now, you're going to practice this like really short answers. I will explain short, okay? I will explain short. But it's point, explanation, example. I will show you one example, okay? What is the point? I prefer working from home. That's one point. I prefer working from home. Tell me, do you prefer working from home or in an office? Which do you prefer? Working from home or in an office? Tell me here in the comments. Huh? I prefer working from home. That's my thing. How about you? Do you prefer working from home or in an office? That's the point. Okay, that's the point. What do we do next? Okay. Now we work on the explanation. I need an explanation. Tell me more. Very important. Very important. What is the explanation? Why do I work from home? Why do I prefer to work from home? And then here, I wrote a short explanation. Mainly because it gives me more control over my schedule. I have more control over my schedule. Example. What is an example that can support your explanation? I have control over my schedule. What example can I give that supports this explanation? I can start earlier and avoid commuting. I don't need to take the bus. I don't need to take the train. I don't need to drive to work. I can start early because I don't need to take the bus. I can go to the gym when I want to go, or in the morning or at lunch. So you have more control. So always think about this, the point, the explanation, the example for the explanation to support your explanation, to support your reason. This may seem like a simple exercise, but many students don't know how to do this in conversation. Most of the time they will stop at, it's nice, I like it. Practice. This will help you clarify your ideas. And I selected, I think, 10 points that I want you to practice at home. And following this structure, this template, the point, the explanation, the example. And this is really short. Ideally, you do this orally, even if you are alone, because when I am doing this orally and when I'm doing this by writing, the timing is different. You have way more pressure, even if you are alone. You have way more pressure when you speak, okay? So I recommend, if possible, do both. But if you don't have much time, do this orally only, okay? So you will do this exercise. Now, what's the catch? I said 3 times. So you're going to answer the same point. You're going to talk about the same point 3 times. But each time, you're going to try to speak for longer. So your first time will be 10 seconds. I prefer to work from home because I control my schedule. For example, I can go to the gym. I can decide when I go to the gym, and I don't need to take the bus. 10 seconds. Then you will go again, and you will try to answer for 30 seconds. Then you can try again, and you will answer for 60 seconds. But Priscilla, I don't have enough to say. Then you can prepare. You can brainstorm ideas. What other explanations? What other examples? You have control over the schedule. Another explanation, I save money. That would be another explanation. I save money, not just time. I don't have just control over my schedule. I also save money because I eat from home. Another explanation, I have a healthier routine. Why? Because I don't face traffic, because I don't eat junk food, because I don't hear gossip from my colleagues in the office. Brainstorm. That's the idea of this practice. How often are you going to do this? Every day? How much do you want to improve? Do you really want to improve your English? Yes, no, or I don't want to improve my English. I don't need a better job. I don't need a promotion. I don't want to travel, Priscilla, so I don't need to improve my English. But I imagine that most of you want. And this is a simple exercise you can do every day. I study English every day, well, Monday to Saturday, for 1 hour. Every day I include speaking. Every day. And I usually go back to this framework. The point, the explanation, the example. That's why I get so many ideas very quickly. If in conversations you feel like you don't know what to say, it's probably because you don't practice your ideas in English. This is a good exercise. So here I have 10 points for you, okay? Well, the first one is done, so I have 9 more. You can take a screenshot, okay? People on Instagram, you have to come to YouTube to see. But here I picked 9 other subjects. I think social media is useful, or I think social media is harmful because I prefer living in a big city or a small town. I think learning English is easier or harder nowadays because I prefer traveling alone or with other people. I think working out in the morning or evening. I prefer spending money on experiences or things. I think having a routine is important because I prefer watching movies alone, at home or at the theater. I think people should or shouldn't use their phones at work because. What am I trying to build here? Your ability to be clear, to be sharp. These may seem like really simple tasks, but the more you learn, I want you to learn the habit, the concept, and then you level that up. You add more challenge, the better you get. What would be my next step up, I would add specific words, more advanced phrasal verbs. I would add the challenge of not repeating certain words or not using certain words. That's what I would do. I would add the challenge of using a specific structure, grammar structure, such as an advanced connector. There are so many ways to level this up, but you have to start somewhere. Moving on. Speech clarity. Now we go to the second clarity. First, we talked about ideas. Now we talked about speech. Because if your speech is not clear, you will not talk to anyone, anywhere, anytime. And I know that when I say, if it's not clear, not perfect, you will still have an accent. If you're from Mexico, you're going to have an accent. If you're from India, you're going to have an accent. You're from Brazil, you're going to have an accent. Naturally, you're Italian, you will have an accent. But we need to fix a few things regarding your speech. And there are 2 main problems here. 2, I'm using the number 2 a lot today. There are 2 main problems, and the next 2 habits will focus on these 2 problems. The first problem is intonation. You're talking like in a really flat mode. There's no energy in your voice. As a non-native speaker, we need to add a little bit more energy. We need to add a little bit more ups and downs. I need to signal with my voice, with proper intonation. I'm not saying you're going to sing, okay, when you're talking. That's not what I am implying. But so many native speakers, non-native speakers, they speak in a really okay, like it's all right. I don't see variation. I don't see stressing keywords. It's hard to understand you guys because there's no stressing. So we need to take the time to practice that. And I'm going to be giving you a very short recommendation to work on that. I think you're going to be practicing this for like 10 minutes a day. It's fine. You don't need to practice this a lot. No exercise I give my students should be done for too long. It's the continuation, it's the habit, not the how much you do it, but how often you do it. Try to understand that it's not how much you do it tomorrow or after this class is over. It's how often you do it, how consistent you are with these recommendations. The second problem with the speech is pronunciation. Pronunciation and intonation are different things. We need to target them differently. If people have problems understanding you, if they get a little confused, we have these two problems which are different. You have certain pronunciation patterns and you have certain intonation patterns. We need to address them by using different strategies. The second habit that I want you to include, and I talk a lot about that, but it's a shorter version, really targeting pronunciation in terms of improving your intonation, which is the micro shadowing practice. We have the typical shadowing practice, in which you pick a short audio or video, like 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and then you get the transcript, you listen, and you read along, and you imitate the sounds as much as possible. That's shadowing, okay? Shadowing is this. I pick a text that has the audio, the original audio by a native speaker. Then I listen, I read, and that's it. That's shadowing. And I try to imitate the intonation, the pronunciation. That's the goal of shadowing. Beautiful. But here, I want to narrow this down. I want to focus on really short sentences to help you improve your intonation, rising and falling, the stress of certain words. And you don't need really long sources to do that. A sentence, a 5-10 second phrase will already help you. That's why you should be practicing this for like 5-10 minutes a day or whenever you study. Okay, if you study 3 times a week, then you can add that 3 times a week, 5-10 minutes to work on intonation. I do this, okay? I study every day. I practice intonation and pronunciation 3 to 4 times. I don't practice every day, to be honest. 3 to 4 times a week, I do the same thing I'm telling you guys. 5-10 minutes, I work on pronunciation, intonation, and there you go. If I'm feeling that there is a sound I'm having problems with, then I will focus on that particular sound. But in general, I follow this 3-4 times a week and I'm done. Okay? So this practice, you will pick really short scenes, like 5 seconds, 10 seconds, and you can use that website, Play Phrase. That's very popular. You have some free versions. 10 Play Phrase, you get to pick like 5 scenes and you can watch for free for each term you pick. So they have a free version, okay? You can use that. Very, very, very good. I use it. I will bring some videos for you now. So I picked these videos from Play Phrase. So strongly recommend, okay? And your job when listening is to follow the pattern. Rising, falling, more flat. Pay attention to the variations. Pay attention to the stress, the keywords. That's the practice you need to have. So look at this example. I never thought I would end up working here, but I absolutely love it. I never thought I would end up working here. I never thought. This intonation, do you see the difference? I never thought I would end up working here. But I absolutely love it. Can I change? Of course I can change. I can change the pattern. But then I change the focus. Something we teach students later on. If you change the stress, you're changing the focus of the sentence. You're changing the idea. But what I want you to pay attention is, do I see the difference, rising, falling, and more neutral? That's what you should practice. And you need really short sentences. This would be like 7 seconds, 5 seconds. And then you're going to repeat and repeat and repeat. And then you go to another phrase. And you repeat and then you go to another phrase. And there you go. Let's do this together. I think I picked like 6 phrases, okay? You can see here on the screen. The first one, if I can't trust you, I don't think I can be with you. I don't know. I don't remember the intonation. I picked the video and I typed. Let's listen together, okay? People on Instagram, I don't think you're going to be able to listen. But hey, it is what it is. Come to YouTube. Let me see 1 second, guys. I'm going to listen to the first one.
If I can't trust you, I don't think I can be with you.
I'll repeat it again because I only heard the ending.
If I can't trust you, I don't think I can be with you. If I can't trust you, I don't think I can be with you.
If I don't trust you, I don't think I can be with you. I don't think I can be with you. Look at the intonation. You need to imitate that. If I can trust you, I don't think I can be with you. I don't think I can be with you. Okay? She's really emphasizing be. She doesn't know if she can be with him. I could change to stay. I don't know if I can stay with you, just so you understand. Okay? The second phrase, I don't think I can afford a place in Brooklyn. I don't think I can afford a place in Brooklyn. Let's see how he says it. It's a man, I think.
I don't think I can afford a place in Brooklyn.
I don't think I can afford. I don't think I can afford. Look, one more time.
I don't think I can afford a place in Brooklyn.
I don't think I can afford a place in Brooklyn. One more time.
I don't think I can afford a place in Brooklyn.
I don't think I can afford a place in Brooklyn. Afford is important. He starts by saying, I don't think I can afford. I don't think I can afford a place in Brooklyn.
I don't think I can afford a place in Brooklyn.
I don't think I can afford a place in Brooklyn. So do you see, do you understand, do you hear the difference? Very, very important, guys. The next phrase is, oh my God, I totally forgot about French club. I don't know. Let's see how she says it.
Oh my God, I totally forgot about French club.
Oh my God, I totally forgot. I totally forgot about French club.
Oh my God, I totally forgot
Oh my God, I totally forgot. Totally forgot.
about French club.
French club. About French club. One more time.
Oh my God, I totally forgot about French club.
Oh my God, I totally forgot about French club. French club. Next phrase. Oops, let me remove this. Believe me when I tell you, I did not do what they said I did. Believe me when I tell you, I did not do what they said I did. Let's see how she or he says it. I don't remember. 1 second, guys.
Believe me when I tell you, I did not do what they said I did.
I did not do what they said I did. Look at how he emphasizes. He even goes more slowly. I did not do what they said I did. I did not do. Let's go one more time.
Believe me when I tell you, I
Believe me. Believe me.
did not do what they said I did.
I did not do. Pay attention to this. This is a very common pattern. Whenever native speakers want to emphasize a negative action, they don't contract. They don't abbreviate the negation. I didn't. No, I did not do what they said I did. Very, very common because they are adding special emphasis. So your clarity comes from observing these short sentences and trying to imitate them to get better at it, okay? Let's go to the next one. And honestly, I don't know if I have my own dream. Let's see how he says it, or she, I don't remember, okay?
And honestly, I don't know if I have my own dream.
And honestly, I don't know if I have my own dream. I don't know if I have my own dream. He's going a little flatter, okay? There's not a lot of rising. It's subtle. Very important too. Here, I am a teacher. I am exaggerating the sounds a little more to help you understand. But we need to observe native speakers that have a flatter tone. Let's see one more time.
And honestly, I don't know if I have my own dream.
I don't know if I have my own dream. I don't know if I have my own dream.
And honestly, I don't know if I have my own dream.
And honestly, I think he rises a little when he's saying honestly. And honestly, I don't know if I have my own dream. But there is a rhythm. Also very important when you're learning intonation, rhythm. There is a rhythm. The English language is about rhythm. not about letters, okay?
And honestly, I don't know if I have my own dream.
And then the last one, let's see. Well, I'm pretty sure you just lost your mind. I don't remember. It's a man. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a man. Let's see.
Well, I'm pretty sure you just lost your mind.
Let's go one more time.
Well, I'm pretty sure you just lost your mind.
I'm pretty sure you just lost your mind. You just lost your mind.
Well, I'm pretty sure you just lost your mind.
I'm pretty sure you just lost your mind.
Well, I'm pretty sure you just lost your mind.
But I'm pretty sure you just lost your mind.
Well, I'm pretty sure you just lost your mind.
Just lost your mind. You just lost your mind. Very, very important practice. We listen to 6 sentences. You don't need to listen to too many of them. You repeat this a few times, 5, 6 times, you're done. That's the idea. That's a very important exercise, okay? Let's move on. This is something I do with my students. In every module, they have shadowing, they have pronunciation, because it's important to learn the rhythm, the pace. Not to mention they record themselves speaking so that I can listen and correct. I listen to my students' speaking exercise so that I can correct their grammar, their pronunciation, their intonation, their vocabulary, their ideas, the clarity, idea clarity. Students from my academy get that kind of correction. Now, before I continue, make sure to subscribe to the channel, share this video with a friend. I appreciate it. But let's move on. Habit number 3, insist on the difficult sounds. At a B1, B2 level, you think that all your problems will be solved by speaking more. It's so very, very common, okay? At this moment, if you want to be more advanced, you need to pay attention to the mistakes you make in terms of pronunciation, but not to criticize yourself like, oh my God, my pronunciation is terrible. Oh, I'm not going to improve. No. You have to be really persistent with the difficult sounds. So is the TH, tell me here, is the TH sound difficult for you? Is the TH sound difficult for you? Is the schwa difficult for you? So you need to repeat them more often. If there is a difficult sound that is difficult, you need to insist on that pronunciation. And perhaps every time you study every day. So every day you're going to pick 5, 10, 15 words, and you're going to work on that particular sound. The repetition, reviewing how you position your jaw, the tongue. Students forget. You're not going to learn like a child. You're not a child. We need different strategies to teach adults. And if there's a sound that is difficult to you, only listening will not make you better at that sound. You need proper repetition while fixing certain patterns. What happens to adults? Their jaw is usually too tense. You don't make the sounds properly because you're embarrassed, because you're shy, you don't feel comfortable, exaggerating. Once I had this student that really struggled with the TH sound. And then when I did the practice with him, I would get really close, and I would show, like, guys, I have to show my tongue. I need to make the sound and exaggerate the movement. Think about it. Those, that. And then he could say to me, but Priscilla, native speakers don't do that. It is so subtle. You don't see their tongue all the time. But we're not Americans. We're not Canadians. We're not British. We need to teach the muscles to make the sound. Therefore, the exaggeration is necessary, at least in your practice time, so that you fix the movement. And if your jaw is too tense, you can't make the sound properly. And what I see students doing, they speak as if someone was like holding their mouth, their jaw, stopping them from talking. So I've seen this happening, and that's the impression I get. So you need to have that practice time. And you don't need to complicate, okay? You can use easy words. Pick the words with TH you use a lot. Think the, mother, father, thunder, thumb. And practice repeating them aloud. Take a look at the theory, the explanation. There are so many videos on YouTube. I have videos on my channel. Pay attention to the movement and then repeat. Look at yourself in the mirror. Why do you think I have a mirror here? I have a mirror. Why? Because sometimes I need to see myself and pay attention to the movement I am making. Am I making the movement? Oh, this sound is difficult. Let me check. And then I check. So it is important to pick individual words. This is not shadowing. This is really individual words that you're going to use to practice certain sounds which only you know. Okay? What are the sounds that are more difficult to you? Pay attention to those. How much time are you going to spend working on those sounds? How much time do you have available? Are you going to stay 1 hour practicing the TH? I do not recommend. I don't want you to practice to the point of exhaustion. I want you to practice with awareness, paying attention to the movement. So 5-10 minutes, done. Move on. You have other things to do. You have other activities to do. You have speaking to practice. You have vocabulary to practice, listening, and so many other skills. Pronunciation is just one of them. It's not everything. Okay? Guys, that was the idea of today's masterclass. I hope you enjoyed this video. Share it with your friends. And speaking clearly is a work in progress. You're not going to get better at it overnight. That's why I said habits. Habits take time to form. But once you do, you begin to see the results. Other than that, my friends, people on YouTube, thank you so much. Share this video with a friend. And I'll see you next time.